Imagine this: you are at a crossroads in your career. The industry is evolving, and your current skills feel like they're from another era. But then, you discover a secret map, one that guides you through the world of reskilling and upskilling. With every new skill you acquire, doors open, opportunities arise, and suddenly, the future of work seems like an exciting adventure rather than a daunting challenge.
I am Jeremy Gemarista, your host for this podcast. Welcome to the BTI Analyst Podcast, where we dive deep into the world of business and recruitment. Get ready to hear from industry leaders and enjoy some thought-provoking discussions and practical advice that will elevate your career and business. Today's episode is about reskilling and upskilling, navigating the future of work. Featuring Wulan Ranny, the Human Capital Director of Paragon Incorporation. Welcome all to the first podcast for BTI Executive Search Regional Podcast. So, in this podcast, we will discuss more about the HR trend and HR recruitment trend in the Southeast Asia market. And for this first podcast, actually, I'm joining with Ibu Rani, Wulan Rani. So Ibu Rani is the HR Director for Paragon Incorporation. So how are you, Bu Rani? Doing good right now?
Hi. Yes, thank you so much. I'm good, and hopefully, Jeremy, you also in a great condition by now.
Yes,
Hello,
I'm good.
everyone.
Hi. So maybe before we start our discussion, maybe you can tell the audience a bit about your background.
Okay. Okay. So my name is Wulan Rani. People usually call me Rani. I've been working as an HR for quite a long time. So it's this year is maybe 23 years of my career in HR. I've started my career as an recruiter back then, and then got a lot of exposure to another field of HR, and now here I am handling still like a role in HR area, and hopefully I can do something to share my knowledge and my experience to be part of the learning for everyone who wants to work as an HR.
Okay, so thank you. So yeah, actually for this segment we will talk about the reskilling and upskilling, right?
Yep.
And I think we discussed about several topics that you want to discuss, and we decide to do this. So can you tell me what do you think this is a critical topic from the today workforce?
Yeah. So actually, based on several conversation that I have with my friends, and also basically when we see what happened to the world right now, I think something that really important is for us to get ready because tech disruption is already started, right?
Yeah.
We push to understand about technology and using technology back then since the first era of pandemic in 2020, and then by then until today, and I believe next year and the year after that, every single point of our life will be impacted by the changes of the technology, and
Mm.
also how now AI becomes something that really important to help us you know doing our daily life. So I
Mm.
think the best way for us, there will be a lot of job that no longer available, and how we want to move forward, of course, how we survive, right? And part of that is make sure that we are doing a continuous learning process, which
I
is
see.
inside of which is including the reskilling and upskilling.
I see, I see, I see. So before we deep dive into the reskilling and upskilling. Maybe you
Mm.
can explain a bit to us about what is reskilling, what is upskilling, what is the difference between the two of them, and what do you think both are important? Hmm.
Okay, so basically, in a simple word, that reskilling is learning something new at the same level that you are now good at, while upskilling is improving your current knowledge to the next level, maybe to go to the strategic level or something in more really, you know, higher level from your current experience. So this too is very important. Why? Because by doing that, you enlarge your opportunity, you make the opportunity to understand better situation, exploring yourself to new things in your life, and that helps you to grow to the next level. That helps you also to have, I'm using a quote sign on it, survival mode,
Survival,
that
yeah, yeah.
make sure that you are available in the market and you are having something different as
Mm,
part of your knowledge that will be useful for you and the people and organization where you are
mm.
working.
I see. I saw that you have worked in various industry and various companies, right? Based on your experiences, what is the biggest challenges that organization can have when they want to implement the reskilling and upskilling program to the employee?
Mm. So basically, actually for me, what most important is not how the organization is facilitating this for
Mm,
the team, but how us as an individual
mm.
understand that the needs should come from us. So
I see.
organization will help us on finding the best way to do the reskilling and upskilling. But
Mm,
we have to have the spirit that hey, we cannot stop, we have to continue learning. So for
mm,
me, the most important thing is how to make sure that we understand the needs of it and
mm,
how we want to move forward. So
mm,
I think that will be the first part of the organization needs to prepare how everybody understand that a continuous learning is part of their lifelong learning process for everyone.
so the mindset need to be there first, and I think yeah, the company if they want to have like a successful program, they need to
Mhm.
have the employee to understand the mindset first before going to the program. Yeah, I see, I see.
Yeah.
And do you have any successful story in terms of like reskilling or upskilling program that you do previously in the current company or the previous company that you work on?
By experience, usually that we show them why we
Mm,
need to improve ourselves. So
yeah.
most of the time, if we want to build like the habit or building the culture of continuous learning, the first things that we need to tap in is everyone in the organization should understand that you have to grow. That's
Mm,
the most important one. How to
yeah.
creating the demand from
Mm,
anyone in the organization that, oh, I need to grow. So that will be
mm,
the first step and the first mandatory plan that usually
yeah.
we share to them. And
Yeah.
after that, then we as an HR, we need to understand the needs
Mm,
of the organization, where the organization will go from, 5 years or 10 years from now, where we
mm,
want to
mm,
be as an organization. And we can also then prepare how we want to develop the team to go to
mm.
that part of things that we want to build.
I
So
see.
meaning that we need to prepare the map, the milestone, and that's
Mm,
what usually that me and any organization that I type in is try to understand where do we want to go and how we can get there, what we
mm,
want to prepare to get there, how to get there, and then we create that to be a milestone of the organization. So the
mm,
success story actually not because how we plan it, but how we as a team
mm,
together make
mm.
sure that we know exactly what we want in 5 years from now, and we
Okay.
do preparing the milestone to get there.
So actually, based on my experience, also in terms of reskilling and upskilling is quite challenging for organization because I think in terms of the employees, sometimes the employee they only want to do their business as usual.
Mm, mm,
So they only want to do like what they do in daily, and for example, if uh, some company say they have some learning program, but
mm,
sometimes the employee is not really interested to join, or if they join is only like a mandatory. So for example, if a company come to you and they tell you about this problem where they want to have like reskilling and upskilling the development for the employee, but the
mm.
employee is not really enthusiastic in this. So, what kind of strategy that you can suggest to them to approach this kind of situations?
So as mentioned that it's supposed to be like we creating the demand from the people
Mm,
to get the training, get the reskilling, get upskilling, right? Meaning that we have to start building the culture of it. So not
mm,
only creating the facility, but make them aware that
mm,
the world is changing. How we tell them the story that the upgrading of the system, seeing the behavior of the customers, how they change the behavior of the customers.
mm,
So the first part is creating the culture, build the culture, and the second one is for all the leaders, they need to have this as part of their, I don't know, KPI, OKR,
mm,
KRA, whatever they call it as the target
yeah,
of the organization, that make
yeah,
sure that learning is one of the mandatory target that everybody and the team
mm,
has to succeed it or deliver it. Make
ah,
it to be you need to push it to make it happen
yeah,
first, and then from
mm-hmm,
there together they can create the habit on going to that level. The second
mm,
part, not only put it written as part of company mottos, logos,
mm,
or the KPI, but also as a leader, you need to make sure that you do walk the talk.
I
Meaning that
see.
show the example, make sure that everybody can see that you are also learning, you are also groom yourself, make yourself growth. That will be the key that people will see. As a leader, people will not only see you as their boss. No, it's
Mm,
already like maybe 5 years ago that people see their leaders as a boss. What now the employees see the leaders is someone that they can look up to in terms of the
mm,
career journey as their mentor, as their coach, right? So meaning
mm,
that as a leader, you have the responsibility to make sure that everybody goes to the level of learning that the company wish to have. So
ah,
walk the talk. Show them that you are also learning. Show them that you also try to grow yourself in the organization.
I
I think
see,
that
I
will be
see.
the mandatory keys.
Yeah, and for example, if a company already done their continuous learning program for reskilling and upskilling for the employee, how can the organization measure the success of the skill development programs?
That's something that we have to do actually for any training, any development, any plan on growth the skill of the organization. You need to make sure that don't forget to measure the changes that happens to your team. So it is not
Okay.
only about deploying some, you know, this amount of funding to create the training program, create the journey of learning, but also
Hmm.
to measure that after the training happens, you need to make sure that where this deliver properly, w- where everybody can feel that, oh, I learned something new, and make sure
Hmm.
to measure that for at least 40 days after the training, 3 months
Hmm.
after the training, and make sure that you can capture the changes behavior
Hmm.
you, that they got it after the training delivered. So it is
Okay.
not only about creating the program, having the fun that you put for delivering that program, but also make sure that it's delivered, but they understand, then they,
Hmm.
the employee, able to apply that on their daily situation. At the
Oh,
end of the day, we want to make sure that there is an improvement for everyone, right?
yeah,
That
yeah.
the end of the day, the target is the organization get better because the people also learning something new and get better on their performance. So meaning that don't forget to make sure that you check the result of all the program that you built for them.
So in terms of the current, yeah, the current trend, so I think there are a lot of
Hmm.
technology improvement, right? Like automation, AI, that change the industries. So do you think the changes in the technology also change how companies do the reskilling and upskilling program right now?
Can be because by the use how we use the technology
Mm,
will help us also to do the mapping of how we can help the team to grow by
mm,
utilizing the technology that the
yeah,
company can adopt.
yeah. See, so I think last question about I think it's about the
Mm,
future trend, right? So
mm.
wow, how do you see the future trend in company to develop their employee by doing the upskilling and reskilling program? So do you see any future trend that moving forward in Indonesia?
I think it happens not only Indonesia but the whole world. Yeah, that
Mm,
basically that now the role of the technology itself, right? It's very dominant, meaning that during
mm,
well, I deliver the sharing session this morning talking about the same things. The audience is basically is a group of retail company. They see that they have to also upgrade themselves and they have to change the way
yeah.
how they run the business, how they empower the people in the organization because the needs of the people is also changing. Meaning that we can utilize the technology to
Mm,
help us on make sure that our team is developed. So
okay.
let me quote. I remember that there is articles from the World Economic Forums that
Yeah.
explain that by 2025, which is next year, the skills that needed by the world it will be different also. There is a I remember there is a topic about top 10 skills that will be um the most wanted skills from all the
Mm,
candidates for the 2025. So some of it likes the analytical thinkings and innovation, and then leadership and social influence, and then
mm,
also about the technology used, how people then become resilience and stress tolerance and
mm,
flexible. That also showing that the needs of the organization might be also changes, right?
mm,
Then if you wish to have everything like all the team member trained by directly face to face, I think will be quite difficult because the request will be there. A lot of requests will
okay.
coming. So by utilize the technology, that will help the organization to move faster, to adopt
Mm,
and adapt faster
yeah.
with the needs that they will have internally at the organization.
So I think that's all for my question. So maybe I want to give some summary or some
Mm,
takeaways that I got based
yep,
on our discussion. So I think in terms of reskilling, upskilling, I think it's a mandatory actually. It's
agree.
mandatory, and I think as an employee, we don't really just need to wait for the companies to do the reskilling upskilling, but
Mm,
if we have the eagerness to do this reskilling and upskilling ourselves, it can help us to stay ahead on the curve on the
mm, mm,
future uh, future trend of the working force. But on the company, from the company point of view, I think what I get is uh, I think it's important for the company to not just do the program without building the culture first with the employee, because I think without the culture interrogations, the program will not be as successful as the company want. And I think the involvement of the board of management and the leadership position is also critical. I think sometimes I saw companies who have the program, but I think the C level or the board management doesn't really care about it. So it's just like a program. So if we have the involvement of the board management, it can be more successful in terms of doing a long-term reskilling and upskilling program. And I think technology wise, it's also uh, can help us in terms of fast moving fast forward in terms of the changes that we have and the program that we have. I think that's the thing that I can get from our discussion today. So maybe do you
Yes,
have any
if
takeaways or
sure,
things that you want to
yeah,
say? Hmm.
sure, Jeremy. If I may giving like from three different perspective about
Yeah.
the future of work,
Hmm.
there will be a big demand of like much greater volume, velocity, and variety of learning for
Hmm.
the enterprise and also for the employee. First one, leaders must create a culture of continuous learning that increase the organizational resilience. And then as an employee, we must become a continuous learner to keep us updated with the skill that need by our role, and how then we upgrade ourselves periodically to make sure that we are still in a part of quote unquote the high demand candidates for the future. And the third one, as an organization, we need to make sure that we embedded learning directly into work design so that people who need to acquire new skills can do it as needed on the job directly. I think
I
that's
see.
three things that for me that conclusion of all the process that we have to go for the upskilling and reskilling.
So yeah, I think that's conclude our session right in for our first BTI podcast, Paragon podcast. So I think it's a very insightful topic. So thank you, Burani, for this.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can talk again on different topic later for
Of
this
course. Of
podcast.
course.
So yeah, okay.
Thank
Thank you.
you so much
Have a
for the
great
opportunity.
day. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Burani. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, all. Thanks for tuning into the BTI Analyst podcast. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and that our guests inspire you with their insights and ideas. A big shout out to Wulan Ranny for sharing her knowledge and expertise. And if you miss any of part of this episode or want to listen again, be sure to check out our website, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you are looking for new talents or new career opportunities, be sure to contact us at BTI Executive Search. And also, if you or anyone you know would like to be a future guest or a future episode, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Jeremy, the head of Consumer Logistics and Financial Services Division for BTI Executive Indonesia. And you can find me on LinkedIn or email me at jeremy_gemarista at btiexecutivesearch.com or visit us at www.btiexecutivesearch.com. Thanks again for listening and catch you on the next episode of BTI Analytics Podcast.